afternoon, good evening, and here I am again. Right, so today this is going to be a little bit more of a, I think, public information thing. So what must be coming up for a good 10 years ago now, I picked up a couple of these Aura BassShakers, used them in my cinema, because I converted my garage under the settee, obviously, but when I started sim racing, used it on that side. One under the chair, one under the seat, and I think I had one under the, which I used for, I quite like the knock of a gear change. And much as people say about, oh, it's not realistic, I didn't care, I liked it anyway. One started to go a few weeks ago and then stopped working, and then not long after this one started to go. So I think I know what to expect from this, but I thought I would take it apart on camera and see if the same as with this is what's with my other one. Now the thing with these is, basically, being a speaker without a cone, you expect these to either work or not work. Like a speaker, it either works or it doesn't work, it's blown or it's not blown. So picking up a second-hand speaker is never really much of a gamble, but it could turn out that BassShakers or tactile transducers may turn into a bit of a gamble, and we're going to find out if it's a gamble. Now don't get me wrong, I won these on eBay, got to be 10 years ago now at least, for 100 quid for the two. So if I'm honest, they've held me in good stead. Never really, and you would just expect them to either go or not work, and they've worked well for 10 years until all of a sudden they started to play up, or one started to play up. So the reason why I know how to take this apart is because I've done it once already, so I kind of know what to expect. So there's your internal. That's obviously the bit that does all the work. I did throw a lot of electrical cleaning spray inside, and they did actually work, or the other one did actually work for a little bit, but then ceased to work again. You can sort of get it to work, and it does work, but as soon as you put the volume to any sort of volume, it just trips out the amplifier, and it asks me to check cables. I don't use one of them small knob sound amps you get. I actually use old home cinema ones that I have. That wasn't stuck well, and it's been well. They work fine, but now all it does is thingy off and tell me to check wires, and as suspected, there we have it. I can zoom in. Oh, there we go. Focus. Is that going to focus? It's worn away. If I get my other one, it's probably a little bit more. Focus. There. So as you can see, the constant up and down motion of the magnet has actually been making contact with the side, and has took the wall off and has exposed the coils. So that appears to be, and that's both of them. Now they both went, they both work fine. One went, messed about with it, whatever, didn't take it this far apart, put it back, it went for a bit and then stopped, and literally a few weeks later the other one done the same thing. So the purpose of this video, I know that these are sold under a couple of names, the same design, whether or not they come out the same factory, who's to say, but it makes it a little bit more riskier if you're thinking of picking one of these up on the second-hand market. The fact that these have both gone exactly the same, almost within a week, 2 weeks of each other. I bought them together from the same person on eBay, so I can assume that they were bought together, and so I can assume they're both exactly the same age, and they've literally gone exactly the same time. So if you see these on eBay sometimes, and people go, yeah, you know, good condition, working right, there's actually going to be a bit of a gamble of how long it runs for before it goes pop, because from the looks of it, the design externally has not changed at all, and I can't see it. So unless they've had these come back and they've altered it and changed the coating inside, I don't know. Since I've got these, possibly not. Don't get me wrong, you buy them brand new. I've used these a lot in my cinema, through films for hours and hours and hours and hours, through the sim, hours and hours. So from new, I'd have no hesitation in buying a couple more in that respect. But would I buy second hand these anymore? No, without a shadow of a doubt, no. You just cannot take the gamble of it now, especially for the amount of money they go for. I paid £100 for these two like 10 years ago, which would have been a lot of money back then, but they're still, I've seen them, they're still in the £100–110 region second hand on eBay. So brand new, I wouldn't hesitate to pick up one of these at Aurora's, or, you know, a named, whichever it is, come out the same factory, different company, different name stamped on it. I wouldn't really hesitate to buy another one, because I've had these a long while and got a use out of them. But buying a second-hand one, no, it's just too risky. I'll keep the case. Maybe if you pick up some cheap, I've noticed you can buy cheap BassShakers. It's possible that a cheap BassShaker will fit inside the case, and at least I'll get some use out of the case. But that's all this was about. I took one apart, see what was wrong with it, and the other, and I knew the other one was playing up, so I thought, right, let's take it apart. And yeah, so just a public information thing, really. If you want to buy one of these brand new, by all means. I've had 10 years or more out of these, and they were second hand to start off with, not a problem. But buying second hand, no, not at all. It's just too much of a gamble. The fact that they've both gone exactly the same time, within a couple of weeks of each other, with exactly the same problem, means that you really can't risk buying an Aurora subwoofer, BassShaker, sorry, second hand. So that's it. That's another one. I hope this helps, and just puts a little bit more information out there that just because something works, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep working. And in the case of speakers and subwoofers and bass shakers, you automatically assume that it works and it will just keep working, but this shows that they do actually wear out. And that's me out. Thank you.